This video is part of the adult education series on reading. It covers analyzing an author's use of figurative language in a literature passage. Pay close attention, take notes, and be ready to answer some questions at the end.
Figurative language is a powerful tool that authors use to create vivid images, express complex ideas, and evoke emotions in their readers. When analyzing literary passages, it is important to recognize how figurative language works and why authors choose to use it. This video will help you understand what figurative language is, identify its different types, and analyze how it shapes meaning in literary passages. What is figurative language? Figurative language refers to words or expressions that go beyond their literal meaning to create special effects or deeper understanding. Instead of saying exactly what they mean, authors use figurative language to paint pictures in the reader's mind, compare things in creative ways, or suggest ideas indirectly. Figurative language makes writing more interesting and memorable. Types of figurative language. There are many types of figurative language, but some of the most common include: a simile compares two different things using the words like or as. For example, her smile was as bright as the sun. The author is not saying her smile is literally the sun, but is using a simile to show how bright and cheerful it is. Metaphor. A metaphor also compares two things, but does so directly without using like or as. For example, time is a thief. Here, the author suggests that time steals moments from our lives, just as a thief would steal possessions. Personification. Personification gives human qualities to non-human things. For example, the wind whispered through the trees. The wind cannot actually whisper, but personification helps the reader imagine the gentle sound it makes. Hyperbole. Hyperbole is an exaggeration used for emphasis or effect. For example, I've told you 1,000,000 times. The author does not mean literally 1,000,000 times, but wants to show that something has been repeated many times. Symbolism. Symbolism uses objects, characters, or colors to represent larger ideas. For example, a dove might symbolize peace, or a storm might symbolize trouble. Idiom. An idiom is a phrase whose meaning is different from the literal meaning of the words. For example, "It's raining cats and dogs" means it is raining very heavily, not that animals are falling from the sky. Why do authors use figurative language? Authors use figurative language for several reasons. To create imagery, figurative language helps readers visualize scenes, characters, and actions more clearly. To express emotions, it allows authors to communicate feelings in a way that is more powerful and relatable. To add depth and layers of meaning, figurative language can suggest ideas and themes that go beyond the surface of the text. To make writing more engaging, it captures the reader's attention and makes the text more enjoyable to read. How to analyze figurative language in literary passages. When you come across figurative language in a literary passage, follow these steps to analyze it. Step 1. Identify the figurative language. Look for words or phrases that do not make sense if taken literally. Ask yourself if the author is making a comparison, exaggerating, or giving human traits to something non-human. Step 2. Determine the type. Is it a simile, metaphor, personification, hyperbole, symbolism, or idiom? Knowing the type helps you understand how it works. Step 3. Interpret the meaning. Think about what the author is trying to say. What does the figurative language suggest or imply? How does it help you understand the character, setting, or theme? Step 4. Analyze the effect. Consider how the figurative language affects the passage. Does it create a mood, emphasize an idea, or help you connect with the story? How does it influence your response as a reader? Example analysis. Let's look at an example passage. The classroom was a zoo during lunch. Step 1. The phrase "was a zoo" is not literal. The classroom is not actually a zoo. Step 2. This is a metaphor comparing the classroom to a zoo. Step 3. The author means that the classroom was noisy and chaotic, like a zoo full of animals. Step 4. The metaphor helps the reader imagine the wild atmosphere and understand how difficult it might be for the teacher to keep order. Let's check for understanding. Carefully read the following questions, pause the video, determine the best answer for each, and then restart the video to check your answer. What is figurative language? Figurative language is when words are used to describe only animals. Figurative language is when words are used to create illusions. Figurative language is when words are used in a literal way to express facts. Figurative language is when words are used in a non-literal way to express something. The correct response is: figurative language is when words are used in a non-literal way to express something. Which type of figurative language uses objects, characters, or colors to represent larger ideas? Symbolism, metaphor, personification, hyperbole. The correct response is symbolism. In the sentence, "The wind whispered through the trees," what human quality is given to the wind? Walking, thinking, whispering, laughing. The correct response is whispering. Which of the following would be considered a symbol in literature? Her voice was like music to his ears. The old man was a walking dictionary. A dove appearing after a conflict to represent peace. The computer died right before I could save my essay. The correct response is a dove appearing after a conflict to represent peace. Which statement best describes a simile? A simile uses exaggeration to make a point. A simile uses like or as to compare two things. A simile gives human traits to objects. A simile directly states one thing as another. The correct response is a simile uses like or as to compare two things. Conclusion. Figurative language is an essential part of literature. By learning to identify and analyze similes, metaphors, personification, hyperbole, symbolism, and idioms, you can better understand what authors are trying to communicate. Figurative language adds richness and depth to writing, making stories and poems more vivid and meaningful. The next time you read a literary passage, pay close attention to the figurative language and think about how it shapes your experience as a reader. This has been a production of D&J Designs and Mathman 1962. If you like this video, click on the thumbs up. If you want to be notified when new videos are posted, click the bell. And if you want to see more videos like this one, click on the subscribe button.